feedback. So the second
Okay.
one is not open. Can I forward it to you, ma'am? Can you check?
Just message him, reply him. Let him check from his system. Just message him back. You can share it with me also.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
also try
forward
here.
you the mail.
If it's working from my side, I can do it.
Yeah, yeah.
The same thing, just inform him.
Yeah, sure.
You forward it to me.
Yes, yes, I'm forwarding to you. Just check, ma'am. Have you received it? Meanwhile, I'll try with the first one.
No, I think I'll stay in touch with the Goodwin and then let's launch the webinar. Joshua must be busy and then it is 4 o'clock already.
I'm just trying with the first PPT.
Just try both the PPT quickly before we launch it.
Can you see, ma'am?
Yeah, we can see. Move it.
This is the first one. Another one is not working. It's not opening.
Just keep it open and try.
Ma'am, that file itself is not opening, ma'am.
Okay, you have sent a mail to me now.
Yeah.
Okay. Which is not opening. What is the second one? Collecting and
yes.
It opened for me.
I don't know. It's PowerPoint show.8. That format it's not supporting.
Is it obvious?
Yeah. This is the one. Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe you can do one thing. In the meantime, you can ask Mr. Goodwin to change the format and resend the presentation.
No, you do one thing. Right click and open with the PPT. Then it will take the program from your system and then it will happen. For me, by clicking it happens, but you try that way.
Okay.
Open with. Okay, we'll launch it first. His talk is at 5 o'clock. Okay, we will launch the webinar now. Yes, sir.
Just yes, it's opening, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
No problem. I'm making you the host now. Okay. Joshua, ready?
Yes.
All the best.
Thank you.
Okay, yes, sir, you can launch. Party welcome, sir. Goodwin, sir.
We are live.
Good evening to one and all present here. To accomplish great things, we must not only act, but also dream. Not only plan, but also believe. I feel grateful every day, even in the darkest of days, to be able to speak and be heard, to be able to leverage whatever I have to help others get heard, to challenge people and also ask questions. The Globethics dream of having a society completely based on ethics will turn into a reality one day, and we have joined here to inaugurate the last day of the faculty development program on Ethics Model of Excellence Framework. Globethics has always provided great opportunities for creating knowledge based on ethics, which will lead to sustainability. Let me put forward a big thank you to all who are present here on this memorable last day of the FDP, which is in fact a special occasion to all of us. We really were overwhelmed by the splendid response. Thank you so much, dear participants, and a special thanks to all the panelists. As you all know, I am Rajula, the Regional Manager for Globethics South Asia Center based in Bangalore, and I heartily welcome all of you to this last day of the FDP with a strong belief that this is a befitting platform to simulate and enhance and refine the skill set of teaching professionals to take challenges in assessing the higher education institution here in India and also abroad. This online FDP is a joint effort of the PG and Research Department of Commerce, Rani Anna Government College of Women, Tirunelveli, and the Globothic South Asia Center based in Bangalore. We thank each and every one of you for joining us today. We have Mr. Mandapalli Joshua Theodore George, the Associate Director at International Rankings and Accreditation, Woxen University based in Hyderabad. For the first talk, that will be followed by Dr. R.D. Goodwin, the Principal, BVS PG College, Vinaya Group of Educational Institutions, Rajamundry. We will also have the opportunity to the course curator, Dr. John Methuselah, before the closure of the FDP today. We have shared the feedback link each day, and I'm sure you are in receipt of the feedback link if you are attending, which is shared only with the attendees, not with the registrants. Once again, I would like to share our overwhelming happiness with you all about the registration of 1,367 participants altogether till date. And day 1 was attended by 467 participants. Day 2 was attended by 473 participants. Day 3 was attended by 423 participants. Day 4 was attended by 407 participants. Day 5 was attended by 387 participants. And yesterday we had 385 participants. We have had participants from Angola, Algeria, Afghanistan, Austria, Australia, Bangladesh, Brazil, Canada, Republic of Congo, Egypt, Ethiopia, Germany, Ghana, Ireland, Italy, Malawi, Nigeria, Philippines, Singapore, Tunisia, United States, and also from India. We have had participants from all the 28 states. We have had participants, plenty of them from Northeast India, Northwest India, Central India, North and South India. We are recording this event, and if you request, we will surely share the link with you all. You can watch and share with the others. We encourage each one of you once again to use the chat box to introduce your name, institution, place, and also country. It will be helpful for us to know from where you are attending the meeting. In case if we have failed to recognize your country name, yesterday I had a reminder from one participants from Afghanistan that we have missed the country. We apologize and we recognized that also. So please, in case if you have missed out anything, you can just put a message in the chat box. And also we request you to come out with your questions and put it in the Q&A box, and we will definitely try to ensure that your questions are answered. And at this particular time, let me take the pleasure of welcoming our first speaker, Mr. Mandapalli Joshua Theodore George, the Associate Director, International Rankings and Accreditations from Woxen University, Hyderabad. Joshua George is an academic quality assurance specialist and a higher education expert with over 25 years of experience in international higher education. He worked in Malaysia for 20 years and 4 years in Saudi Arabia as a consultant for the Ministry of Education on quality assurance matters. His previous responsibilities were lecturer in architecture, head of Department of Built Environment, academic coordinator, principal, and head of quality assurance. His key achievements are he has assisted in obtaining an outstanding 6-star rank for the college in Malaysia twice in a row. He has developed quality framework for technical colleges in Saudi Arabia. He has designed and developed a curriculum for many programs in built environment. He has achieved full accreditation for all programs by the Malaysian Qualification Agency. And this is the second time we are going to listen to Mr. Joshua George, and it's really an honor that he has accepted our invitation. And once again, he is with us here. So I request all of you to applaud him virtually wherever you are. Hearty welcome, Joshua. We applaud you, and please take over the floor.
Thank you, Ms. Razilla. Good afternoon to all of you. I hope you can hear my voice loud and clear. If at all there
Yes.
are any problems, technical issues, or you cannot hear my voice, please mention that in the chat so that I'll try to rectify that any technical issues. Firstly, I would like to thank Globe Ethics for inviting me, the coordinator for Indian chapter, Ms. Razula. Thank you, madam. You have been always a big support, and thanks to Esther and also Dr. Goodwin. Dr. Goodwin is my guru, and I'm so happy that he's here, and I can't wait to listen to him. A very experienced person. So actually, I have to rush with the topic because it's already 4:10, and I was given only 60 minutes to present. So I'm going to rush, you know. So please bear with me. So today we are going to discuss about using emerging technology in sensitizing and cascading ethical practices in higher education. Now, this is a huge, its scope is very, very, very wide because any emerging technology still has got a very profound effect on the higher education operations. So I had a very tough time in preparing this presentation because I had to limit myself to some of the very key areas which will affect higher education. So I hope you'll bear with me because it's a lot of information. I packed it with, for 60 minutes time. So I hope we are on the same page. If you remember correctly, last time we were all talking, I was talking about AI teachers. I think most of you remember, and you made a lot of comments about that. Then immediately the next day morning, this was in the news. The University of what's this? The University in Chennai. They have developed AI professor. They're calling this AI professor as Muller. Muller is a teacher. I think most of you would have read this in the news. Came in the news. Now this is the world's first autonomous AI university professor. That's what they claim. And the AI professor, you see, I have underlined this. The AI professor is equipped with a comprehensive understanding of the entire engineering syllabus of Anna University across all disciplines. So it's a bit scary for all of us, for all the higher education educators, because you see, this is the first step for a full autonomous AI university professor. This autonomous robot has been fed with every concept in engineering. And literally, you ask anything in engineering, the robot can answer. And it can simplify, it can make things simple. Even it says a 10-year-old can understand what the AI robot is trying to teach. That is a level extent of knowledge this AI has got. And I was curious. So that day last week, immediately after the next day after I gave the talk, I came across this. I just went to the analytics and I saw within 24 hours, 42,000 people have already been registered for the services of this AI. That's mind-boggling. So this is don't get panicked, but this is one of the latest development which came. It's a reality. It's not just a theory. It's not a concept. It's already a reality, and this is a working model. Now, I have divided my presentation into 3 parts. I'm going to first talk about the current technologies. Then I'm going to talk about the upcoming technologies or the future technologies. And finally, I'll end up with the ethical part, ethical dilemmas we get because of these current technologies. If I'm going a bit fast, please slow me down. Okay, but I'm going to share all this presentation with you. So even if you would have missed anything, I will give the presentation to Ms. Razula. Then Ms. Razula will share everything with you. Even the last presentation I have already given to Ms. Razula. So hopefully I think you got it from her. Now, the first part I have taken is artificial intelligence, which you already know. These are all current technologies which are existing. Then augmented reality and virtual reality, adaptive learning, the blockchain, learning analytics, Internet of Things. Apart from this, there are other robotics, GPS navigation, EV and drone technology. So let us just quickly go through this, because for us to know the ethical dilemma, the first thing is we should know what is the technology about. What does the technology do to higher education? Then only we can explore the ethical aspects of it. So first, let's briefly know about these things, because not every one of you is very familiar with the terms and the definitions. Only the people who are related to IT or artificial intelligence, probably they will learn these things. So let's just briefly go through this one. I have made it very simple and easy to understand. Let's hope things go on as planned. Now, artificial intelligence. We spoke about artificial intelligence in the last seminar, last talk. Okay, it is nothing but artificial intelligence try to replicate or simulate human intelligence. That's it. It tries to be like a human intelligence. This is only the first phase. So we already know a lot of things which are there. We have digital assistants like Google Assistants and all, then GPS guidance. All of us use GPS. GPS is also traditional. Then autonomous vehicles. Um, then generative AI tools like ChatGPT, which most of us are using ChatGPT. Then we have in this AI, we have weak AI and strong AI. Weak AI means it only does specific tasks, for example, Siri and Alexa. Then strong AI is capable of reasoning, and it tries to solve very complex problems. That sort of similar to human cognition. This is about artificial intelligence. Now, how is it related to higher education? Of course, all these are related to higher education. We are using it, especially in the engineering department and the artificial engineering department. We are using all these things. The students are using ChatGPT for doing their assignments, and everything is at their fingertips. They have a smartphone, they have a iPad or tablet or laptop, anything. I have, I most of the time I go for class observations. I go and sit in the class to observe the professors and how they're teaching. And I sit just somewhere in some corner. I always tell them, I'm in a invisible mode. Don't just ignore me. I'll be sitting in one corner trying to observe how they're teaching. Then I developed a format for lesson observations. Then after that, I call them up and I talk to them and give my feedback on that. Mostly constructive criticism. There is no negative things I talk about. I only give them constructive criticism. So during my class observation time, uh, all the students have the laptops with them, laptops or tabs. I observe that whenever the teacher is trying to say something, immediately they open up the check very fast. Everything is at the fingertips. So students use a lot of artificial like ChatGPT and other things just to find out what the teacher is telling. So that's why sometimes I caution the professors. You try to be a bit accurate, because even before you open your mouth, student already has got that on the screen. And so be careful what you're talking about. So artificial intelligence is packs heavily in the higher education. Then Internet of Things, IoT. So this is, see here, become the devices, all the physical devices communicate with each other, and they try to give us an update what's happening. For example, we have thermostats, home security devices, smartwatches, pacemakers, self-driving cars. All these devices can link to each other and in real time. For example, I think we already know this. We can sit in the office and just check what's happening in the house. Okay, whether we can switch off remotely, we can remotely switch off our air conditions, we can remotely switch off our refrigerators, or we can know what's in the refrigerator, how many things are in the refrigerator. Right now we have smart refrigerators. They will give us an update, what are the things in the refrigerator. If the eggs are finished, then it'll give a report. They say, oh, the eggs are finished. So it'll tell you, then immediately call somebody else and say, hey, can you please buy the eggs, or you order online, whatever it is. This is Internet of Things. Then augmented reality and virtual reality, which is used heavily in higher education, especially in the European countries and America. AR and VR is very widely used. I'll tell you the small difference between AR and VR. So, augmented reality is nothing but you see, for example, you look at the picture here, you see on the phone, we are looking at an event, and what happens is it superimposes with some of the virtual information. Like, for example, it gives some specifics about that, that is augmented reality. Whereas virtual reality is completely virtual. Okay. I still remember somewhere way back in 2013, I think. I went to one store, virtual reality store. I took my son was only 3 years old at that time. So I took him to the store in Kuala Lumpur, and they gave us the virtual reality glasses. What we are looking at is a forest, a huge forest, a dense forest, and the dinosaurs are roaming about. So we can literally experience the virtual reality. We can see the dinosaurs moving, and some of the dinosaurs coming onto our face, that sort of thing. So the students get to have a feeling of the things. For example, if you're talking about the time of Ashoka dynasty, what is Satavahana dynasty or Ashoka's period, or you're talking about Mughal period, or you're talking about the independence time, or you're talking about, the what you call the Second World War, whatever it is. The students can experience that in virtual reality. What happened? Okay, it's just like watching a movie in a 3D kind of thing. So the students can learn better, understand better, because it says here humans tend to process visuals 6,000 times faster than text. Visuals are always speak. A picture speaks 1,000 words, like something like that, right? So 6,000 times faster. So virtual reality is one thing which can be very extensively used in teaching and learning assignment. Then the next is adaptive learning. Now, what is this adaptive learning? Okay, you see here, this type of learning uses data and algorithms to analyze a learner's performance, strengths, and areas that need improvement. The learning content and activities are adjusted in real time to match the learner's pace and level of understanding. We have a lot of apps here, Adaptable, Newton, Codebooks. See, every student has got different cognitive levels. I think you know that. Some of them are slow learners, some are fast learners. Some of them learn certain things very easily and they have difficulty learning other things. So this adaptive learning is suited for individual learning. See, for example, uh, recently, for the last 20 years, we're talking about customized learning. Well, as an academic, I know it's very, very difficult to customize the learning process because you are one person and there is a class of 100 students or 50 students. Each one comes with their own cognitive levels. It's very, very difficult to keep track of what the students need. But now we have the apps to help them. So this type of learning technology assists the students in their own pace. They can do the thing. More very, very useful, especially in online learning. Then you have the next one is blockchain technology. It keeps track of what's, from the beginning until the future, that sort of thing. Blockchain technology. We use this especially in student certificates. See, for example, I worked in a college which is 80 years old, 80. It started somewhere 80 years back, and we have records of students from the last 80 years. We have rooms and rooms filled with the archives, a lot of documents. So what we did is we digitized each and everything. So blockchain helps us if at all the particular student or somebody who's graduated in 1975 or 1985, he wants to verify, so he's applying for a job or going abroad or whatever it is, any verification, they can get back to us or use the blockchain to identify whether the student has really studied in particular place or not. Because it is something like a ledger which will keep track history of all the transactions. Just like how it is used in the market, blockchain, it can be used even in higher education, especially all this certificate process can also be used in asset management, copyrights, royalties, uh, uh, copyrights and royalties for the research people, uh, and who are doing the trade tower kind of incubation centers. They can use this. Learning analytics. I think all of you would have heard about learning analytics because everywhere you see a lot of advertisements on this. Now, what does it do? Based on the data, based on the data, it can predict the student academic success. This is the application, in higher education. It can predict level, analytics can predict how the student is doing, whether the student can graduate or not, what will be his tentative grade, that sort of thing. Once you know the tentative grade of a particular student, and you see, let's say, for example, you expect him to get A and he says, the learning analytics says he's a C, then you can come up with plans how to bring him up to that particular level. So we have tools like Pet Analytics, Woolcat, Bright Bytes, Clever, Newton, Adapt, all these apps. There are so many apps coming up. I wrote a few. There are hundreds and hundreds of apps which are coming up. So this is learning analytics. So these are all the current technologies we have. How about the future technologies? Okay, the ones which I told you earlier, most of you know about the future. Now, when I say future, that doesn't mean it's not here. A lot of these technologies are already there, but not yet introduced into our higher education. So let us look at one by one. We have humanoid robots, explainable AI, Internet of Everything. Previously, we studied of Internet of Things. Here it's Internet of Everything. Quantum computing for blockchain, then augmented reality navigation, edge computing, mixed reality, autonomous vehicles and drones. So let us see how it's going to. This one, explainable artificial intelligence, which is called XAI. Okay, this one is more advanced than the AI we have now. Why? Because this AI is a wonderful assistant tool because it tells us what to do about the particular student. Okay, so for example, I will make it very simple. Let's say there is one student who's not performing very well, and this using all the other integrations like the learning analytics or whatever it is, this XAI, instead of just giving you information, it will suggest you what should be done to what are the steps you have to take to make sure that the student excels. Okay, so XAI has a potential to revolutionize how students perceive, assimilate, and understand course material, and it inculcates a wholesome knowledge transfer leading to a very optimized task. So this is XAI is going to be the future. Then we studied about Internet of Things. Now we look at Internet of Everything. Now the difference between Internet of Things and Internet of Everything is it integrates the things, all the devices. For example, it connects people using, connected through smartphones, tablets, fitness trackers, computers. It connects the things, devices, consumer products, gadgets. Then it connects the data. It connects the processes. Everything is integrated. That means literally everything we use is integrated. Now I will pause here and give you some information which I have not mentioned here. I think most of you would have heard about Elon Musk. He came up with this, what do you call it? The neurochip. What's the name of it? Neurochip? Can anybody put it in the chat? Okay. What do you call it? The Neuralink. Yes, Neuralink. Sorry, Neuralink. Okay. Now, this Neuralink is a chip inserted in the brain. They say that it helps the physically handicapped to communicate, effectively. But there is this is only just the first step. When you go further up, okay, it can enhance the brain capacity, and yeah, probably I don't know. I'm not sure. Probably it can even help to relate you with so many other gadgets, uh, just by thought process kind of thing. Okay, so even that, all these things can be connected, interconnected. That means if something is happening somewhere, because everything is connected, you will get that information. Okay. So Internet of everything is, but of course, if this one has to be a reality, then we have to have something else. Our connections, seamless connections must be there. See, for example, right now we have 5G, then probably we go to 60, 70, or 80, or other latest. So then only there won't be any disruptions in the information transfer. So Internet of Everything is one. Next, augmented reality navigation. Now, this one is already there. This technology is already there. It uses, for example, if you look at your, let's say, for example, GPS. Previously, in olden days, the GPS only used to show the map, and it will tell you, take a right turn, take a left turn. But now we have pictures, right? We have a lot of pictures. Um, Now, this augmented reality navigation will also give you the information. For example, instead of the voice you hear, turn right 50 meters. A lot of people get confused. What's 50 feet or 100 feet, 100 meters? Which one is northeast, northwest, Because whenever you on GPS, it says turn northwest. Who knows which one is northwest? It's a bit confusing. So this sort of augmented reality navigation will make it much more easier. Now, another one is the most very nice game changer is quantum computing. What is quantum computing? It is processes the data at the speed of light. Okay. Now, can you imagine if we use this quantum computing robot, Android, robot, what will happen? Okay. I'll just come back to that later. So quantum computing is processing the data at light. So that's wonderful. The data computing can be done, but only here when I say computing, the computing, the quantum computing can process, but for the process, the data to be exchanged with something else, you still need connectivity, seamless connectivity. That's another part. Edge computing is one. Edge computing is, for example, right now, if you're putting any information in the cloud, it goes to a server somewhere else. Then if you want to retrieve from there, if somebody has to share it, it has to be somewhere else. Then, but in edge computing, what happens is whatever information you require will be somewhere near you. I'll give you one example. Simple example. Okay, let's say there are 10 trucks going one after the other. The first truck can have a driver. All the 9 trucks need not have a driver. Okay? But they just follow the movement of the first truck. Okay, whenever the truck is slowing down, they will slow down. Whenever the truck is speeding up, they'll speed up. Whenever the truck is taking a left turn, they'll take the left turn. Because the controlling system, is somewhere near to this whole thing. That is called edge computing. Then mixed reality. Mixed reality is a game changer in higher education as well. Because somewhere, I think, I don't remember, but somewhere in 2000, 2005 or 6 or 7, I don't remember. University of Salford in UK, they have invested $1 billion, not million, $1 billion to come up with a virtual lab. And they gave us a demo. The guy who came, he's shown what they're doing. So, mixed reality, what happens is it's a combination of both virtual reality and also the augmented reality. One thing is it uses the holograms, 3D holograms, especially when the students are doing projects. Okay, right now I think most of you are aware of COIL. COIL is a collaborative kind of thing between different institutions in different countries. For example, in Watson, our students are collaborating with students in Sweden on some of the projects. So mixed reality helps them to communicate, interact very easily. For example, if they are trying to develop a motor, they can see it in 3D hologram and they can tweak, and they can discuss about a lot of things about how they can make the things better, the design part and all. We have, for example, in mixed reality, we have Microsoft HoloLens, which can assist you with this. This is a great game changer, and this is going to be very, very, very useful in higher education, especially in engineering. Okay, so this is what. Then we have autonomous vehicles and drones. Now, I think during the COVID time, mostly, I think some of you would have seen these guys, everybody's at home, nobody can go out. And some alcoholics, those guys, they're so desperate. So some companies, they use drones to deliver the bottles, beer bottles and all to them. I think there are so many instances in that. Now that one, at a larger scale, now we have drones with very high capacity. That means they can carry more weights. For example, can deliver a lot of things, right? Because they use this drone technology uses artificial intelligence as well, and precise locations, GPS locations. So, if let's say you say you want to send a package to some remote part to your grandmother, okay, from your house. So you just give the address, the package is directly delivered to the porch of your grandmother. Okay, so that is the technology we are talking about. And autonomous vehicles, you already know Tesla has already got self-driving cars, which is not new, but the future will be also this autonomous vehicles. You see the picture down here. Yeah, whenever we talk about vehicles, we always think about huge cars. Even small vehicles like this can deliver a lot of things to your house, and very precisely they can come. They can actually see the traffic. Because of the GPS navigation systems, built-in things, they can communicate with the satellite and see which road is busy, which road is not busy. So even if you're Zomato, Swiggy, and all, you can use autonomous vehicles to be delivered, and they're very fast and very what do you call that? Accurate. Um, uh, they come very accurately to your place. So this is another future technology which can be used. Now this one, humanoid robots. Now this is the one we already spoke about Muller, right? Just now we spoke about Muller. If you look at the history, the first one was invented by Honda Motors, as you know, which costed them over $1 million each system. But right now we have humanoid robots which are costing around $2,000. Okay, and humanoid robots like Muller, who is labeled as a professor, full professor, has got so much knowledge. It can literally teach every subject in the engineering background. It can answer every question, and it can answer question based on the cognitive levels of the student. Can you imagine if this humanoid robot and learning analytics, blockchain, Internet of Things, everything is combined? What will be the capacity of this humanoid? unlimited application. Now, so these are the things. Now, the question is, a lot of you will what isn't it a threat for us, all the academic people? Are, I think we're going to lose all the jobs. That's what we are scared of. But before I go to that, let's see some of the deep fake apps. I think all of you know about deep fake. So recently, just 3 months back, I went home to be with my son and wife. My son came in. He told me, "Dad, okay." He gave me a text. He asked me to talk. So I spoke. Then what he did, he changed the text, went to my wife, and switched it on. And in my voice, another message is coming. You know what's the message? Oh, my son's name is Jaden. Oh, Jaden is very tired. Tomorrow I'm going to give him off. He need not go to school. He's going to sit at home. This is the message. It came in my voice. My wife got very, very annoyed. She came to me and she started shouting on, why are you not allowing, why do you want him to stay at home? Tomorrow he's got a test, he has to go to school. I said, I never spoke those words. I didn't. But actually, I know about deepfake, so I know what he used. So I told my wife about deepfake. So there are a lot of apps. Recently, one guy, I think in Hong Kong, if I'm not wrong, he lost 120 million US dollars because of deepfake. The guy on the other side was talking, and they used deepfake to change the faces and the voices. So this guy was assuming those people are his clients, and so he transferred the money. Okay, so this is a very dangerous app. I'll give you just one example of what happened. This was recent news. Um, this crime was not done by the students; it was done by the athletic director of the school. What he did was he used artificial intelligence uh, to create an audio, because when principal is talking, probably he will have recorded. Then he used one of the apps, changed the text, and circulated the text. In that voice audio clipping, the principal is using very horrible language, scolding the black people. So he lost his job. But the principal was telling, I never ever spoke these words. And so the police got a doubt, and they investigated, and they found that actually this fellow used deepfake to implicate the principal. And finally, he was caught and put in jail. So these are as academics, we have to be very, very careful about these things, because suddenly the student will come and say, oh, the principal is giving such so message to me. Or they can use your voice to make a call to the principal. They do all this stuff. So we need to be a bit cautious. What are the ethical issues? But before I go, I just want to warn you something. We take this with a pinch of salt, and we are a bit skeptical. We will be always scared. My God, this technology. Remember something. All the technologies which I spoke about are already in the market. A lot of technology. Now, the students are very well versed with the technology. If you won't catch up with that, that will be a big loss for you and the higher education. So we need to reinvent ourselves, to learn the technologies. We just leave that mentality of, old mentality where I'm going to follow the conventional style. My teacher taught me like this, and I'm going to like this. That leave all that mentality. Try to be uh, we try to catch up with the students, want to know what technologies they're using, and whether you try to be one step ahead of them. Then only you can probably survive longer. This is a bit scary statement I'm making, but that is a reality. Otherwise, higher academics are going to lose in coming futures, because these technologies are too fast for us to catch up. you have no choice to learn these things. Only thing is, there's a saying: when you can't beat them, you join them, right? So we cannot do anything. We cannot stop these technologies. Only thing is we join them. So that's we learn and try to explore how we can use in higher education. So now let's go to the ethical point of this. So I identified six things. Sorry, this is showing five. Okay, um, six things I've identified. So let's go one by one. The first thing is data privacy and security. Now, this is the biggest problem because every technology which has shown is linked to collecting the data. Okay, so I see we had that Data Privacy Act in Data Privacy Act in Malaysia. This was way back in 2010 or 2008, I don't remember. We had a lot of talks from the lawyer, from the legal people. They came and they gave talks and they gave us talks about how to protect the data. For example, in India, if you go to an office or an university and ask, for example, where is Joshua? Then the receptionist will tell you, Joshua is on leave. He went to Visakhapatnam or he went to Hyderabad with his family, and he just wanted to chill out in so and so resort. So they give a lot of information about us. But in Data Privacy Protection Act, we are not allowed to do that. Okay, because you can face some legal implications because of that. The same goes to the student information. Okay, we have the habit of displaying student results on the notice board, but even that is not allowed in the Data Protection Act because other students are not supposed to know the result of this particular student because that creates some sort of disparity, and the student who is not doing very well may feel insulted. So the Data Protection Act usually, I'm just telling you, just superficially telling you one or two things. There are so many other things in the Data Protection Act. Okay, so but when I came to, I think India has introduced something like this somewhere in 2000, just last year September, some 6 months back. But I never heard about it because whether it is being implemented or not, I'm not sure. But somewhere, I think just 6 months back, they came up with this. But most of the countries have come up with Data Protection Act almost 20 years back, which they've used. Okay, I think once it's introduced, most of us will know what to do. But one problem with all these technologies is it's data usage. They're giving the data. Where is it going? For example, you're putting the data in the cloud. Where is it going? Who is using it? You wouldn't know. Whether is our data safe? So there must be some sort of regulations around this. Of course, there are so many policies, but whether the policies will be implemented or not, that's another question. Bias and discrimination. Now, this can happen with the algorithms, AI and algorithms, because I think when you're using ChatGPT, I think most of you would have observed that ChatGPT can sometimes give wrong information. The information may not be correct, or the information is biased, because the algorithm of AI, the ChatGPT, is such that it extracts the information from certain areas and gives us, and that information may not be correct. So you may end up having wrong information. The same thing can happen even with advanced AI. Okay, so there is a possibility for bias and discrimination. So this is another thing, because these algorithms of AI are based on extraction of information or analyzing and interpreting the information. So that's see, for example, I'll give you an example. Let's say there are so many articles on the internet saying that, let's say the British people have done wonderful service to India, for example. So then the AI, when it gives us information, it will project British people as the heroes, which is not correct, So this biased information can be obtained due to the algorithms of this technology. Okay. So there must be some sort of fairness, and we need to be a bit careful about this. Academic freedom. Now, when we integrate the technology, what happens is there's a possibility for us to use our academic freedom and autonomy. Uh, there is a possibility that the technology or the companies which are developing this technology can dominate our academic freedom. Okay. So this is one thing. That means we'll become end users rather than see. Until today, we develop the curriculum. We decide what should be taught to the student, how it should be taught to the student, how things should be assessed and all. Now, because of the technology may tell us what to do. So we may lose our autonomy here. No, this is the problem. Accessibility and inclusive. Okay, so uh, most of this technology is designed for people who are fully healthy, but how about people with disabilities? So inclusivity must be there when you're using this technologies. For example, if you're talking about virtual reality, augmented reality, and all, people who are blind doesn't have any use for that. So, so these are the things which are potential for harm. Like uh, right now, we are using already we are using remote what do you call it? Remote operations. That means the doctor in US can use AI, robotics, and perform the surgeries here. They can do that. But it also depends on the seamless connectivity and the accuracy of the machines. So if these are not correct, then what happens is when he's performing the surgery from US on a patient who is in India, then there's a risk factor involved in that. And you already know about the self-driving cars. The self-driving cars are met with accidents because they could not assess the surroundings properly. You already know that about Tesla cars. So this can happen. Then other one is broader societal impacts. Now these technologies can drastically shape uh, the landscape of the society, even the higher education landscape. Totally changed. Actually, I strongly believe in that, and I share this with a lot of people. This generative AI and robotics can and see connectivity and quantum computing and all can totally uh, change the higher education. That means whatever we are seeing now may not exist in the next 5 years or probably 10 years. I'm not sure. A different model of education will develop. You know, recently, I think Elon Musk has given a statement said after 2030 or 2040, the people who are jobless are the educated ones. That's what he said. It's the people who are educated and the jobless ones. The people who are working in the fields, agriculture sector, people who are doing handyman jobs, they are the ones who will be employed. Or the people who are at a higher level programming, or like yeah, generate, prompt engineering, probably they may have the jobs, but majority of them may lose the jobs. So job market can change, social dynamics can change. You may instead of you may have robots as doing your household chores and taking care of your elderly parents and so many things. People may not want to have children, due to these lifestyles. Then the students may not want to come to colleges. Probably they prefer virtual universities because with augmented and virtual reality, you don't have to come to classroom. You can still wear a virtual glasses and uh, and virtually you can be in a classroom. So there are a lot of possibilities, and the higher education academic people have to be ready for all these changes. frankly speaking, nobody has an idea where these things are going to lead. But wherever they're going to lead, there's going to be a massive change. So this is one thing. So currently, instead of thinking about uh, what's going to happen next, how are we going to make efficient use of the technology? Okay. The bottom line is curriculum. If your curriculum integrates everything, okay, use a technology-friendly curriculum, then uh, you will be benefited, the student will be benefited as well. And the curriculum must be on par with what the industry is changing. Industry is changing too fast, and are we still using the old methods and the old methods, old curriculum? That's why the curriculum must be revisited every year, not once in 5 years. Previously, it was once in 5 years. Every 5 years, they used to look at the curriculum and see whether the changes are complete. Every year, we have to look at the curriculum and change it if it's necessary. Otherwise, your students will become useless. Their curriculum will become useless, outdated. So this will lead to the death of the higher education. So a dynamic curriculum can help you with all these things. So luckily, I managed to cover very fast. Okay, so we still have 5 minutes. So let's go to the question and answer session, and I'm going to share this this presentation with Ms. Razula later. Then you can get it. And now, if you have any questions, we have 4 minutes left. So probably we'll look into the chat. What is the chat?
Thank you so much, Joshua. There were some compliments about your presentation in between, and that they have also requested the PPT, and we'll share it with them. And you mesmerized all of us with your presentation. And then there were so many things like running in my mind as you were presenting. And then I think you also will agree with me, like you had seen a life without technology in Andhra Pradesh, and you have seen how the technology came and evolved, and slowly, one by one, it has taken over almost in all the arenas of our life, in the houses, in the workplaces, mainly in education system. And then like education system is producing brilliant minds to be placed in different field like the army, the bank. So I just feel artificial intelligence is good, and then I do have my own concern. Like 2001 September 11 Twin Tower attack, I think everyone that time the technology or AI it wasn't developed this much, and the attack happened. So much of loss, mainly the Pentagon, where the army keep their secrets. And then you also showed the picture of the drone in your presentation. And then there are waves that can, hide the drone's intervention or entry into some area. So like military or army is something, they keep a lot of secrets. And then they have to highly protect all of that. And then like the drone camera can, come in and then take video or photograph. And then how, like, is it not really, like, of course, for army people, it is highly like they can spy even, the enemy, places they are moving around and then they're planning. But then at the same time, even the enemy's drone camera can come into, and also for bank, they really struggle protecting their data, the money, so many fraudulent activities already, blackmailing, hacking, and then it's not uneducated people are doing, educated people are doing that. And then I see every day in the paper also, even from banks, they are sending email warning us not to fall prey to such fraudulent FedEx courier phone calls like that. So, and also I have a sense that always someone is watching. There is nobody around me. My mobile is with me. So I feel somebody is monitoring me, because I go to some place, I don't even buy anything. I just pass to some hotel or something. When I reach home, then, there is a Google sending me a message. How was Yellow Tree Hotel? How was Secretariat? Share your experience. But I never entered inside. But then I feel, and also I search for some product for my neighbor, and then any website page I open, I see pop-up ads. And then there are, adware, like it can be So there is a lot of nuisance attached with that, and then the virtual world is kind of consuming us. And then the virtual world, in quantity, I feel that they are more than the reality. So we have come to a stage where not able to, specify what is virtual world and then what is the real world. So you can just
Madam,
explain to us.
I'll give you one very dangerous example of this. Most of you know that Saudi Arabia and Iran are always enemies, sworn enemies. So I think in 2020 or 2021, I don't remember the dates, Iran has sent some high-speed drones into Saudi Arabia. Now, Saudi Arabia has got a very strong missile, protection system shield because they outsourced it to US. Okay, so they use US technology. So if any missile comes, immediately it will be intercepted. But they never expected that Iran is going to attack them with the drones. They never expected that. So Iran has sent smaller drones, high-speed drones with grenades. Now they came and dropped that bombs on a petroleum refinery. Okay, because Saudi has got Saudi has got a company called Aramco. Aramco is the biggest petroleum company in the world. So they went and dropped that, and the whole facility was blasted. It became into pieces, like everything. So just within, I think, a matter of 30 minutes, Saudi Arabia has lost billions of dollars because of that. So this is the downside of technology. And like what you said, there's no privacy as well. But it's a two-edged sword. Everything is a two-edged sword, just like electricity. If you put your hand in the plug, you'll die. But if you use it for powering up something else, it will be useful. So technology, we should know how to use the technology for the benefit of higher education.
True, and then you also explained about Internet of Things and then Internet of Everything. And then I also came across some information that even our mobile phone, if it is switched off, still somebody can operate our camera. And so what is your, people have the habit of taking the phone to the bathroom also. And then the cameras, you give permission, access to all the app when you download without reading exactly what is that, what is the information given. We give permission. And then at a time, see, when I try to connect to the Zoom, 4 or 5 alert messages that this is using your camera, this app is using your camera. For what? I really don't know. So even inside the house with the mobile, I think the privacy is not there.
Yeah. See, once you're if your device is connected to internet, we have to forget about our privacy. Even you switch off, or sometimes some of the people even plaster their, the webcams and all. But always the systems have got different ways of extracting the information from you. Okay, but luckily, until now, most of the information is they get it from the system itself. For example, if you're using Huawei phone, or you're using TikTok or whatever it is, the company itself will have the information. Okay, the company is the owner of the information. So it depends on what the company wants to do with that information. That's a different thing. Okay, hackers it's a bit difficult for them to hack it without your permission. They cannot, unless we are not careful. Hackers cannot hack us the information very easily. No, it's not that possible for the time being. But then again, like what I said, once you are on the internet, you are always unsafe.
Thank you. And then what is your piece of advice about the different mobile charging ports that are there in the airport? And then I heard that, when you actually plug
Yeah.
in, if you use your adapter, it is safe. Without adapter, if you use their adapter, and then from our phone, all the information can be taken. Plus that private network, free Wi-Fi network in the airport, and then many other places. So I think anything that we transfer official, I think the hackers will have, if we have a virtual private number, and then it will not. Otherwise, I think anybody can access to the information that we pass on through that particular free network. So what is your advice? to the participants with regard to?
Madam, these things, data theft or theft of information is something which, when we are alert, it can be prevented. For example, even if you're using your, let's say, for example, you're putting a wallet in the back pocket, somebody can come, just touch and steal your all the money from your credit card. It's been happening since a very long time. It's not something new, data theft. But I want to focus on, as a higher education expert, how is it going to impact you? Rather than a common citizen. Okay, uh, common citizen. There are so many problems and so many solutions for that. But in higher education, how are we going to prevent such data theft and data misuse? So we have to, the IT department has to come up with wonderful firewalls, and the information streamlining must be very, very secure. Okay, the information between channels must be very secure. So the IT department has to play a wonderful role in the higher education, so that they are the protectors or the keepers of information.
Thank you, Joshua. Actually, I want to have more interaction with you, but the next speaker is waiting. And then my personal appreciation that I was impressed by your PPT, and then the choice of pictures that you used on your PPT. And then we never felt that you were rushing. And then for us, it was, like to our level, we were able to follow you very well. So thank you so much. You're really brilliant. And then like you're up to date with regard to artificial intelligence, and then there are things that were new to me, many of the things that you shared through your presentation today. And then thank you for being with us on two different occasions during this FDP. So on behalf of Rani Anna Government College and also Globothic South Asia Center, we would like to thank you from our heart. Thank you so much, and I'll stay in touch with you. We need your continuous contribution in our upcoming webinar also.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you all for patiently listening.
Thank you so much, Joshua George. And we have the course curator, Dr. John Methuselah. He would like to come in for 1 or 2 minutes, and then we'll move on to the next speaker. Over to Dr. John Methuselah.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Professor Joshua. Thank you so much. It was a brilliant session. I mean, you have taken us to somewhere else, to another world. And then we have seen different kind of dimensions, and then I would like to just quote one thing. Yesterday, I think there was something in the news like AstraZeneca, the pharmaceutical company that made Covishield, has committed itself. Has revealed that its drug has had some adverse effect, and one, it is actually creating blood clots in the brain and in the heart and kidneys and all that. This is happening. Blood clots are happening. I've seen many cases. Many people, passed away just because of that. The other one is that the platelets are coming down. So I think the world is having more problem with the educated people rather than the uneducated people. Highly educated people, and those are doing a lot of research. So I would like to just give 2 points and then give it on to Dr. Goodwin. See, Dr. Goodwin is going to close this FDP. And it is crucial that we stick on to him and then we listen to him with intent. Because, see, whatever we spoke till now, all the speakers is on one side. What Dr. Goodwin is actually talking about is very crucial. It's on the other side. Because whatever is going on here, we are defining different things, but then the actionables, how to make it into action or how to bring it into action, how to actually, become a network, and how to work it out in the university. What are we going to do in the university? Are we just going to get the certificates and then be happy with the certificates? Or because we have spent some time, we have got something like that? Is it just knowledge we are thinking of, or are we going to legitimize and then become something in the legendary process? I mean, making of a legend. So we are going to take this to the point of becoming a legacy, a legacy of ethics. And Dr. Goodwin will actually lead us. I know what he is. He has seen education inside out. And I mean, from KG to PG, I think he knows whatever is happening because his parents' side and his wife, they're all teachers. They are into government teaching, assignments. So he knows every difficulty that is there, and whatever is happening in the private institutions, he knows. So I think I have chosen a right person here. So everybody, please be with us. Stay with Dr. Goodwin. He is going to give us all the actionables as a grand finale to this faculty development program. Over to you, Dr. Goodwin.
Uh,
I'm
Thank you, Dr.
traveling.
John.
Otherwise, I would have actually opened my video.
Thank you, Dr. John Methuselah. Have safe travel. We are missing you, and I'll see you in Bangalore.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Dear participants, I take the pleasure to introduce the next speaker, Dr. R.D. Goodwin, who is currently the principal of BVS PG College, Kanaya Group of Educational Institution, Rajamundry. He previously associated with the Geetham University, Visakhapatnam, ICFA University, Hyderabad, and GIET University, Rajamundry. Dr. Goodwin is a passionate and dedicated professional with extensive experience in teaching, training, and administration, organized several conferences, seminars, and training programs and consultancy projects, and he has been editor for institutional newsletters. His core competencies are teaching and mentoring, community involvement, research and paper publication, brand building, training and consulting, student management, etc. His professional accomplishments are signing MOUs with GSK Smith Kline Limited, Junior Chamber International, Rajamundry Chapter, and Shelton Hospital Private Limited, Rajamundry. He is also editor of Godavari Management Insights, which is a management journal of GIET and Geetham News of Geetham Institutions, and Aficionadio newsletter of ICFI Kakinada. He has published many articles in national and international journals with the Scopus and UGC CARE journals. Topics of publications are in the field of education and branding, ecotourism, FMCG sector. He is also patent authorship for 2 articles. He is life member in Indian Society for Training and Development. And it's an honor that we have him again with us, and he's going to conclude the FDP also. So I request all of you to virtually applaud him and hand over the session to Dr. Goodwin. Hearty welcome. Please take over the floor.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Once again, inviting me for the final day of this seminar sessions. Thanks for the nice words, nice introduction. And I think John has given more hype. I don't think he simply says a lot of things about me because of my association with him since long time.
Dr. John,
Am I
our
audible, ma'am? Am I clear? Am I clear and audible?
Yes, you are.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you to the team of Globe Ethics, Madam Rajula, Madam Esther Ghosh, and Rani Anna College Principal, Madam Darling Selvi, Madam. I'm very much thankful for giving me this opportunity. And I also appreciate Dr. Joshua for giving a wonderful presentation and very good inputs he has given regarding the technology part of it. Yeah, let me start my session. Before I actually jump into my topic, the given topic to me, I would like to just recap what we discussed in the previous sessions. With that small recap, I will try to move on to the today's topic. The first day we discussed about issues and challenges and ethical dilemmas in educational institutions with respect to ethical practices. And we had elaborate discussion on that. On the second session, I come up with some collaborating and networking with certain institutions or organizations, and how we can improve our practices, ethical practices in our organizations, with upgrading, updating, and also enhancing certain aspects of ethical conduct. That is what we have discussed in the section session. Today, I just recap a few points about how collaboration and team building can help in this context, and then move on to the feedback part of it. Madam, is there, Madam? Can we have this presentation
Sure.
of first
Just a moment.
collaboration and networking, please?
Sure.
Thank you, ma'am. This is with respect to the collaboration and networking at different levels in regard to ethical practices in our institutions, how we can go about. We discussed, I'm just giving a brief about this. We can collaborate and network with universities, institutions, departments, class at the class level, at individual group levels, and community engagements. These at different levels we can engage ourselves, network ourselves, and collaborate. If you want to collaborate at the university level, you try up with some universities at in our place, or in a different part of the country or different part of the universe. So university collaboration takes at the top levels, and you can collaborate with institutions as well. And the institutions which are on yours in the same line of education, or some cross-sectional institutions which are teaching different subjects. So that kind of institutional tie-ups with within your place, or within some other parts of the country, you can tie up. So that kind of institutional types also will help you in knowing various things about ethical practices, how you can successfully implement in your institution. Similarly, if it is not possible, you can tie up with some departments, either it's a governmental departments or no NGOs, or some other departments, and even at the institutional level, uh, in your institution with other departments, you can have some collaboration. We can have some networking where the management department can tie up with the technical departments like CSI, or some other engineering departments, or other arts departments, and they can have some interaction with respect to various ethical practices that can be shared, that can be upgraded, that can be implemented with respect to your own institution. So that is what is the departmental level collaboration will help you. And at the class level, even in your class, if your class, and with if you are having an MBA, suppose say you are having MBA, so in maybe in one college, you'll be having some 4 sections, or 4 classes, or 5 classes. Or if you are having an engineering department as well, or if you are having some other non-technical courses in your college, you can tie up with uh, those classes at the class level. Your section with other section, and have some interaction with the faculty members, or with the students of that particular class, and you can interact with them in terms of now how they are having ethical dilemmas, and what kind of solutions they are coming up with, and what kind of practices they are advocating. So every class will have their own customized understanding levels, or problem levels of or even some dilemmas. That kind of things will happen. So at the class level, you can have some collaboration. Or if you go even into the, you can even narrow down, you go for the group levels, individual group, form some groups. If you are having a class of 50, if you are having a class of 100 or 60 people, you try to form groups like having 10 members or 8 members, small size groups. So at the individual group level, so one group will interact with other group, group will tie up with other group within the same class, or this group can interact with some other class in the same college, or with some other department, or some other institution outside the college. So in that way also you can plan some collaboration to take place at the individual group levels. And finally, you can think about community engagements. So outside communities, like some associations or NGOs or some other organizations at the community level or the society level, you can have some sort of collaboration and try to take some inputs from outside in what way they can address these kind of issues, or what kind of practices you can try to involve in your institution. That kind of sharing can take place when you try to collaborate with other institutions outside your college, like in your community or in your sometimes it takes the form of social responsibility also, community responsibility. So that is how this collaboration will and networking will at different levels will uh, improve, enhance, enlighten you with respect to ethical practices that can be approached or taken into your organization and follow at different levels. Madam can be next first. Yeah. Now, when you go for this collaboration, what happens? When you network with some universities or some organizations or some institutions, what takes place? What happens? Now, these things can take place. That should reflect in your organization in terms of all these changes. Like, the institutional policies will change. What sort of institutional policies you're following right now, and how these can be improved or enhanced or upgraded. So try to embed some practices, some policies in your institution at the institution level. I mean, at the policy level, the policies and procedures which are designed by the top people will come to your help in understanding what is the motto of the institution, what is the vision of the institution. So, in that manner, these ethical practices which you are trying to learn from different sources, different collaborations or networking will help you in installing that thing in your institutional policies. And that will in turn will help you develop curriculums which will embed with certain practices. As the other day we discussed that so far even I also have seen many syllabus in various universities. They will have a separate subject, that's it, as ethics, ethics in management, ethics in commerce, or ethics in science. That is what they normally do have. But no, it is not going to help you in all aspects or in all platforms. That won't help you. But what is advocated is, if you try to embed these ethical practices in your curriculum, in your syllabus, in every subject. And at some point, at some part, if you try to involve that in your curriculum development, that will certainly help you, because at some point of time while teaching a particular class or in different chapters or different courses, they will try to involve these ethical aspects in their teaching or in their delivery or in making the students understand. So that is how curriculum development will also should be very well involved while developing itself. You have to think about ethical components into that. Now another one is faculty development. Another component is faculty development. Madam, the previous slide is, yeah. Now, when you when you think about faculty, now provide faculty members with training and the resources so that they can incorporate ethic education in their teaching and research activities. So faculty should be aware. Most of the times, even if you see some other colleges, the first and most primary thing that is important is faculty. If faculty thinks, that happens, that will definitely happen, because at the execution level it is the faculty themselves. They have to be completely enlightened, they should be completely trained, and they know they should be provided with resources so that they can incorporate this kind of components, ethical components, into their education and their teachings, and also the research activities, more importantly. So faculty's involvement is the utmost important and the primary aspect of ethical practices, involving ethical practices or following ethical practices. So offer support for developing case studies, assignments, and classroom discussions also to the faculty so that they can embed some ethical dilemmas and relevant things into this with whatever the fields in they are teaching in. So in that way, the faculty development programs will help ethical practices in your institutions. And next one is student engagement. Now, after faculty, there comes the students. These are the ones who actually will, face this kind of ethical issues and ethical things. So, student engagement and their awareness is very much important. So, students have to engage themselves in discussions and activities which are aimed at now raising awareness about ethical issues and fostering a sense of responsibility towards ethical conduct. So students should understand the need for ethical conduct in the institution. So encourage student-led activities and some clubs or events which are focused on ethics or social justice or community engagement. These kind of involvements of students in these kind of things will definitely make them aware and get engaged so that they will try to, at some point of time, something will pinch them. Is it right way to do these things? Is it really justifiable? How far this community is getting benefited, or at the larger section of the community is getting benefited? That kind of questions will be automatically raised within a particular person. So this is another important element. Lastly, ethic committees. So establish ethic committees and review boards which are tasked with overseeing ethical practices and addressing ethical concerns in your organization, in your university, in your institution. So this will help you review certain things which are taking place in your organization and take certain measures which will rectify them. So this is how you can help ethical practices in your organization to take some real-time, involvement or real-time practice. So this is all about collaboration and networking that will help you uh, embed some practices of ethical and morals in your institutional policies, curriculum, faculty, student, and committees. Next slide. Next slide, Miriam. Yeah. For this thing to happen, now we have collaborated. Now we have taken some active part of involving ethical policies and practices which are embedded in your institution through various aspects like syllabus or curriculum or things. Now, to come into the action part, you need some teams. You have to form teams. Teams will help you actually these things get executed in your institution, the ethical practices. Now, what do you? I need not tell you what is a team or how do you form a team, how do you run a team, how do you make function a team. That everything is a well-known fact, though, for all the faculties who are actually in the academics. So I just briefly give you some tips on this. That's it. So you understand, a team is a number of persons associated together in a work or activity. So it is what is basically a team is. Next slide, ma'am. Madam, next slide, please. Now, you can have a community approach for the team, where a group of individuals that share, collaborate, and assist one another, and members look to their peers for support. So this is how teams actually function. Now, you have to make this teamwork with the proper cooperation, communication, and coordination. So if you have these three components making available, making functioning, then there is no problem in executing a team. So community approach tells a group of individuals that share, collaborate, and assist one another. So normally some 20 people or 10 people you can have as a team, and they will look for their peers for support. This type of teams leads to the institutional success. So next slide, ma'am. Now this is another one. This approach is you have why teams should work. because teams are the one which initiate change. They bring in change in the institution. The teams are actually, if the teams are really active, there is no problem. If you want to introduce a change, they will make it possible. So all the teams often provide a valuable source of feedback. They are not only the change makers, they also provide you a lot of feedback, whatever the feedback you require. So this is how the teams will help you, right? Next slide, ma'am. Now, why teams will work and with what motto they will work. Teams are actually considered to be natural problem-solving devices. When you provide with the problem, they will come with a solution which is very much successful. So the purpose of every team, we know that they are natural problem-solving devices. Most of the organizations, they use teams. They form teams because through the teams, they bring in changes, they find solutions for their problems. So a team setting opens a new communication lines, it provides a new communication lines. Now, how you want to communicate with the fellow teams, or if you are having any other problems, how they can be easily addressed. This will be properly brought in or addressed with the help of teams. So this is all about how you can use teams in your organizations while implementing ethical practices. Can we go to the next slide, please, madam? So this is the basics of teams. Now, establish clear objectives. The objectives have to be, uh, you know, uh, in the team, all the members have to be involved while establishing the objectives. That should be a common objective, right? And focus on contribution. It is not one-man team. All the team members have to equally contribute and collaborate. So focus on contribution. Each member's contribution is important for the success of a particular team. Now, develop a participatory role. You have to develop for each person, you have to give a role. What is the role of each person in terms of providing certain contributions or acting or activities or execution? All these things should be properly laid down. So, develop a participatory role and proper involvement of each member. And that should be combined with responsibility. So you have to be responsible, promote team responsibility. If these things are properly coordinated, properly involved, so the team success will be easy, the team functioning will be easy, the ethical practices component will be made possible to be followed in institutions, in class, or in every place in the particular organization. So this is the process of forming a team. Madam, next slide. So what are the key actions in team building? I think you know it. I need not tell you this again. Madam, can we go to the next, please? Next slide, ma'am. Yeah, there is, every team will have a common need. So the overriding need of all people working for the same organization, what is it? Every organization is the objective of any organization is to make it profitable, right? So in the similar manner, every team will have a common need for the functioning. Yeah, man. Next slide. The problem with the teams, if you don't have a proper goal or proper objective, then the teams will be a problem also, right? So next slide, man. Madam, next slide. So if there is no proper orientation or proper goal, no, the people will, will be a real problem for organization. The team will be a problem for the organization. So whatever the size of the team, never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed people can change the world. That is what happens. You have a lot of team building videos and films and movies, how the team actually function. You have examples of Chuck Day, or Lagan. So many films are there made on team building and team functioning, how they make things fruitful, successful. That is how it happens. Next slide, man. I'm just running fast with this component because this is a very well known and well aware concept. Madam, next slide.
I have already changed. Do you want me to go to the next one?
Next slide is there, ma'am. One more slide will be there.
This is the last one.
Okay, ma'am. Fine. So this is all about, yeah, this is it, ma'am. This another one is there. So unity, passionate hearts committed to a shared vision can accomplish, and they can make the impossible things possible. So most of the time, when you think about ethical practices, you feel, you say, and you comment that they are very much boring and they are not followable, they are not practicable. That kind of things will come. But when you have this kind of teams, that will definitely will be made possible when you have that unity in your team. When all hands come together, the teams will function, the goals will be realized, whatever the size of the team, whatever the context of the particular problem is, whatever the place you want to execute it, that things will be made possible. The last one, man. Yeah, this is a wonderful thing. Coming together is beginning. You can understand. Keeping together is progress, and working together is success, right? So teams make, with the teams, you can achieve this. You can begin, you can progress, and you can also succeed in ethical practices. So use these teams. I'm sure that most of you might be having this kind of concepts already being followed, already being executed. But just I wanted to put forward to some those who are still or yet to commence this kind of things in their institutions, assuming that nay, ethical components or ethical practices cannot or might not be possible to be followed or implemented in organizations. No, if you think that is possible, definitely we can make it possible. And how we are going to make it possible, I am just trying to tell you: collaborate, you network, you develop teams, you follow certain procedures, things will come into action. Thank you. This is what about I want to tell. Next one is about the feedback component. Madam, can we go to that particular presentation, please?
Yes, sir, just a moment.
Yes, ma'am. So I was telling you all these things because we are focusing on ethical practices, right? How we can execute, how we can implement, how we can succeed in making people think and learn the importance of ethical components to be embedded, to be followed in their respective institutions. So I told you we have discussed various issues and challenges, ethical dilemmas in organizations, what are the problems and other things. And then we discussed about how we can use certain collaborations and networking practices to bring in certain good new ideas, new thoughts, and new practices that will be suited or customized to our organization with the help of networking and collaborations. And using those networking and collaborations at your institutional level, if you think about forming teams to make things happen, and how the things will execute, how the things will function, how can you involve teams into this particular components we have discussed. So final component is, now we it is not the end of that. You have collaborated, you have networked, and you have brought in a lot of information, lot of inputs, and a lot of practices into your organization, into your institution. Well, you have formed teams, you have set goals, you have done everything. Is it enough? Is it sufficient that you can be get relaxed, that thinking that everything is in place and everything will work, everything will function on its own? It is not that. If you most of the management students, they study the components of management or the process of management, like planning, organizing, staffing, directing, and controlling. These all functions of management are very essential for every organization, irrespective of the nature of organization, whether it is a profit organization or a non-profit organization. These management functions you see everywhere, even in educational institutions, right? So all these functions simultaneously will go hand in hand. If you are having planning and coordination, and if you are having a good staffing, you have staffed very well, and you're directing them. But if you are not controlling them, if you're not looking into the control aspect of it, then planning becomes useless. So this is how this feedback is going to work. When you put everything in place and forget most important element to take feedback on all these things, then you are missing a lot of things. So this is what I'm just trying to tell you how feedback is going to help you. Now, the first, yeah, ma'am. After all, what does this feedback have to do with ethics? Now, you may ask, what is this feedback is all about? Now, most of the people, they don't like to take feedback. Even I have seen many faculty, even colleges are also. They don't bother to collect feedback. They ignore it. Sometimes they overlook it. They think that it is not much of use. But no, why people avoid, why people try to uh, give much less importance to feedback is these major factors. They fear criticism, right? They feel that some people, they cannot take criticism. It's very difficult for them to take criticism, right? Second one is lack of trust or credit. I'm just running fast because time is running out, lack of trust or credibility. And people don't believe those who are giving feedback. They think that they are very much less knowledgeable, or not that trustable, not credible. So that kind of sometimes maybe makes them not to take some feedback. Sometimes you feel superior for yourself. You need not take any kind of feedback because you are very much you know that much knowledgeable, that much you kind of defensive behaviors. Lack of feedback culture. Your organization is not having any feedback culture. As I told you, some colleges, they don't follow a feedback process at all, feedback system at all. They don't have a feedback system at all. So personal bias, another one is personal bias. Bias towards certain things, bias towards certain people. They don't allow it, right? These are some of the things which will hinder, which will stop you to taking from feedback. Next slide, ma'am. But people, you have other side of it. Now, Ken Blanchard, who is a management guru, management expert, says feedback is the breakfast of champions. If you take feedback, it makes you champion. That is kind of feedback importance is given by most of the people, most of the learned people. So importance of feedback is that. Next slide, ma'am. Now, creating a feedback friendly culture requires three things here. Now, giving feedback is a skill that can be learned. You try to make people learn that skill. You have to give that kind of a sufficient room, sufficient space there, so that people can come up with some feedback. So giving feedback is a skill that can be learned, and make it virtuous habit. So first we make our habits, then our habits make us. So if you make it a habit, that if you give feedback from time to time, people will try to speak, people try to come with some feedback that is more valuable for your growth, for your enhancement of your practices. So make it a virtuous habit. Extend this approach to internal as well as external customers. Now, you cannot confine and say that internal customers, who are the internal customers, the employees and all the people who are involved, right? So that you cannot just simply believe that only the customers internal customers will give you feedback that is sufficient. No, you have to take feedback from external customers as well. So that kind of feedback will help you in many ways, right? Madam, next slide. Yeah. Now, I told you the importance of feedback. Now, how do you take feedback? Now, most of the people think that feedback just giving is making a survey of giving some certain forms with certain questions that will suffice. No, there are so many ways uh, for collecting feedback. Now, as I told you, collecting feedback is the biggest challenge for many people. I'm very much sure, even for me also, have faced a lot of situations where after the class, if I ask the students, ask questions or respond, please give your feedback, nobody speaks. Very few, on very few occasions, very few people will come out. And as a faculty, as a teacher, or as a manager, or as an administrator, you have to think why these people are not talking, why these people are not coming out with some their feedback. That is really a challenging task for many academicians. So confining yourself to one particular process or one particular method will limit you. It will not give you enough space. It will not give the respondents enough courage to speak out. Maybe it is from the problem from your side, from the institution side, or the classroom itself, or the peers. Who is stopping to speak? Who is stopping them to give feedback? That should be traced out by the responsible persons, and then try to ease it, try to ease conditions so that people will speak, individuals will come out with their opinions. That is going to help you a lot in your organizations, how you can introduce, implement, and force your, or force you can see lots of changes with respect to this ethical component, moral values. So I just listed out few ways of collecting feedback, how you can do it. The most known, well used, highly used, rather say, the social media and online communities. You have the first one is here. Now, students often share their experiences and feedback on social media platforms, right? Online communities. You have a lot of sites. You have, if for that matter, every organization have a Facebook for their organization, and LinkedIn groups are there. You have Twitter accounts for the colleges and institutions. You have class-wise WhatsApp groups or departmental WhatsApp groups. A lot of online communities are existing. Now you decide which. You cannot again say, I'll just follow the Facebook only. No, people may reflect their opinions in WhatsApp. People may take the help of LinkedIn or other groups. So social media, you have to keep an eye on that and take the views of the students. If they are not able to talk in class, if they are not able to give their feedback in a formal setup, then you take the help of social media and online communities to create that kind of awareness to the students. So that is going to help you. Next one is workshops. Now, faculty workshops or training workshops will help you uh, understand the need for this particular feedback. When you offer workshops and training sessions for faculty and staff on ethical principles and professional conduct and compliance with ethical standards and policies, they will provide opportunities for discussion. They will develop case studies on that. And scenario-based learnings will also be enabled by the faculty so that they can be introduced in the class to take some feedback from the students or the individuals concerned. So faculty is going to help you a lot in taking the feedback, right? Next one is, next slide, ma'am. This I just taken an example of a group called Trust, where they have come together, a faculty group, as a workshop. They have conducted a workshop on the particular element, and they have revealed lot of things, lot of sharing, lot of collaboration has taken place in that particular workshop of Trust. That the name was given as Trust, so that the people can talk with each other, and those conclusions, those feedbacks from that particular sessions have really helped. That is what is the feedback they have given. Really helped in practicing certain ethical principles in their institutions. Okay, next slide, ma'am. Now we have here another component of feedback. How this kind of peer reviews and exit surveys will help you. Peer reviews. I think you all know what is a peer groups are. Peer groups. They're groups of the same age or same class or same things, right? Peer reviews and evaluations will help you. The processes for assessing ethical practices within academic departments or in the research labs or in the administrative units, you can have these peer reviews. Encourage peer groups to give the feedbacks on issues such as, how transparent are the things going on, are they fair, you can talk about the fairness and had adherence to the ethical standards, how, to what extent the ethical standards are being followed. If the peer groups will help you understand on the same levels, that is another component. Now you conduct exit service. Next component is exit service. You all know what is exit service. While the students are going out or the employees are going out, you can conduct certain interviews or surveys. Conducting exit surveys when students they graduate from your college, from your institution, or leave an institution, they can provide valuable insights into their overall experiences and any area that needs improvement. One good thing is, as long as they're in the institutions, something might be, controlling them or something might be holding them back. But once they are leaving the institution, once they are moving out of the institution, they are finishing the graduation, there will be no inhibitions, no controls. They will freely and frankly coming out with all kinds of feedback. They'll give you actual feedbacks, right? So these kind of exit surveys, exit interviews will help you get feedback that will try to correct certain practices which are being followed at present, right? So that's kind of exit surveys will help you with taking feedback. Next slide, ma'am. Another one is important aspect is alumni, right? The alumni also, you invite alumni to your institution. You have associations. Every institution nowadays, they have alumni associations, right? So invite one alumni once in a month or once in a fortnight and ask them to talk to the students, give their feedback, what kind of problems they have faced, what kind of problems they have encountered, and what situations, and how they have overcome that, how they have had solutions for that. So this kind of making interactions possible with the alumni helps organizations or institutions come up with new ideas. And these alumni will also help you in the ethical dilemmas what they are facing in their workplaces. They will bring in new dimensions, new thoughts, and new ideas to follow ethical practices in your organization. So that kind of alumni interaction will and alumni feedback will enable the ethical practices more fruitful to be followed. Right. Then another one is anonymous suggestion boxes. Okay, people sometimes they don't want to reveal certain their names, or they want to maintain certain confidentiality with respect to certain feedback issues on certain moral standards or ethical conducts and ethical problems in the organization. For certain people, this anonymous suggestion box will definitely help. They will place, and they will put these suggestions in these particular boxes, anonymous suggestion boxes. So across
Please stay, dear participants. He will join us. Probably is disconnected. Dr. Goodwin? Dr. Goodwin? Sir, we lost
I
you
think
for
some
1 minute.
problem,
Yes,
in
sir.
network, ma'am. Am I
Yeah,
connected
sir,
now?
yes, sir. 1 minute we
Yeah, ma'am.
lost.
Yeah, ma'am. Another important component is to get feedback is focus groups. Organizing focus groups with students can provide qualitative insights into their experiences. When you form these focus groups, you have to be very, careful. I tell my experience of this kind of focus groups when I had a group which was assigned to me. I was a mentor for that. Uh, I used to talk to them, but they never used to reflect. They never used to come back. They used to talk very limited on a limited levels or limitedly. They used to give feedback. Then I thought, why not have change of place? Maybe the environment will make things happen. At least sometimes this kind of environment change will make them speak. Then I took them to some outside the college and some cafe, some place, some 10 people or 12 people I was having as a group. So all 12 people, we were sitting there and we having some coffee and some snacks and informal environment, informal setup, informal discussion. You don't believe that the most dumb students, the most students who never used to speak in class, they have come up with this kind. They have spoken a lot. They have given a lot of information. They were very freely. They're telling their all kind of problems or issues or even success. That is how things will work. Now these focus groups, if you have, if they are not even the same thing happens in the class also. If the class is not giving a proper feedback, they are not talking, then definitely try the other way. You can try some other setting. You take them to the lawns in your campus itself. Also you make them sit in an informal setup. Definitely they will talk. So these focus groups will definitely help you. These sessions will allow to get in-depth discussions on specific topics. You tell them the topic specifically, they will come out with a lot of information, a lot of feedback. So these groups will help you educators better understand what the student perspectives are, how the students are feeling. Elon University in North Carolina is very much known for this kind of focus groups. They make a lot of successful activities, a lot of successful programs, successful things using these focus groups. Fine. So this is one. Madam, can we move to the next slide? That is focus groups and speakers. Next one is speakers. Now, who are the speakers? Don't always you be the speaker as a faculty or as a class teacher or a same subject faculties. No, you invite from some other departments. You invite speakers from some other college, or sometimes I have read one article about college of uh, San Francisco, where they have invited blue collar convicts from jail, and they made them speak about their experiences, how the financial frauds have taken place, how the organization has given a scope for them to do such kind of malpractices, what kind of ethical practice they had, what kind of ethical dilemmas they have faced. So the people from jail, the prison, they have exchanged their concerns, how they have fallen prey for that kind of malpractice, and they've landed which had landed them in jail. And they have been sentenced for some years of in prison. So that kind of people also, the college maybe have that provision to invite some people from jail. Not every college will have that kind of courage, right? So speakers from different fields of specialization, different arenas, they will give you valuable insights and they will explore new ways of embedding ethical practices in your organization. So that is another important component. Madam, next slide. Can we go to the next slide, please? I'll quickly wrap up because we are running short of time. It's already 6, I think. Madam, next slide.
I have already
Yeah.
changed, sir. Do you want me to go to the next one?
What are the key aspects for a comprehensive and constructive feedback? That is all what components of taking feedback. I think I have given you some discussion on that, right? Clarity of questions, be clear on your questions, right? Relevant to the context, as I told you, very specifically you frame questions and involve some diversity, inclusivity, right? The questions preferably be open-ended questions. You have two types of questions. You all know that, closed-ended and open-ended. So closed-ended, you will be having options. Now, if you prefer to have open-ended questions, the opinions and the feedback, what they have in their mind, will be very clearly brought out, right? Use preferably open-ended questions. And finally, show some commitment to follow up. Just simply taking the feedback is not enough. You have to follow it up. That is very much essential. Madam, next slide, please. Now, how do you incorporate autonomy and non-maleficence in your feedback and evaluation methods? I tell you just one or two methods briefly. The four-way test, which was popularly propagated by Rotary International to guide ethical decision making. You need to ask: is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? In framing all the feedbacks, you'd need to ask yourself while doing this feedback. You ask. So feedback and evaluation method, which is honest, impartial, respectful, and helpful, will be highly successful in bringing some good successful practices. Next method, madam. Next slide, ma'am. Another one is SMART criteria. Use this SMART criteria otherwise. A framework for setting and assessing goals and objectives. Now, what is a SMART? Specific, which is measurable, which is achievable, relevant to the context, and time bound. So use this kind of criteria to taking feedback. And lastly, adopt a growth mindset. When you believe that abilities and skills can be developed through effort and learning, and the growth is possible. A growth mindset encourages you to view feedback and evaluation opportunities for improvement rather than judgments or criticisms. So when you develop growth mind in the individuals, in the subjects, then you have things coming in place, right? So this is what the three components, three aspects. I've taken some inputs from Mr. Andrew Porteous, who is an L&D, Learning and Development Specialist, otherwise considered as a culture change expert. He's having some website which called Ethic Eyes, and innovative software he has developed, which is used by many organizations for taking feedback. He's a specialist in taking feedbacks. So this is all about what I want to share with you. I think I've taken 2 more minutes, actually, as per the scheduled time. So briefly summing up my session here, I have discussed on issues and challenges, ethical dilemmas in institutions, higher educational institutions, and I have just given you some inputs about how to collaborate and network to bring in some new ideas and new inputs so that ethical practices can be made possible to be followed in your institutions. And finally, how those collaborations and networking will be materialized through teams. If you form teams, and what kind of teams and what kind of functioning of teams is possible, we have discussed. After forming the teams, now after embedding the practices and following the ethical components in your institutions, don't forget to take feedback. This feedback, the field feedback, the first-hand feedback, is going to help your organization in growing, in developing, in coming in much better shape. That is what is required. That is what is much sought after tool, feedback, the importance of feedback. I gave you some aspects of feedback. I think I'm clear on my focus on ethical practices, how you can make it possible in your institution or in your college or university to some extent or to the major extent. If you come, if you have some idea to follow these kind of elements. So this is all about what I wanted to share with you. And thank you very much. If you have any questions, you can ask me.
Thank you so much, Dr. Goody. It was actually stunning presentation. Audience haven't put any question, but they kept complimenting, saying that
I'm telling you now, ma'am, questions, asking questions is a skill that need to be learned. You know, you have to encourage questioning. Unless you ask questions, you don't learn. And there is a popular saying in Telugu also, Adagande ammayina annam pettudu. If you don't ask your mother that you want something to eat, your mother will not give you a lunch or dinner. Unless you ask, you don't get it. So
that
you
is
need to ask. You need to develop that kind of a positive attitude to question. Right.
yes, and mainly I liked actually the idea of that bringing someone from the jail, how the mistake was committed, and then that's a beautiful learning. And then these are
Thank you
the
so much, ma'am. Thank you for.
yeah, thank you, sir. And then I would like to check with Dr. John Methusala if you're able to say something, if the network is proper.
Yeah, ma'am. Now I'm able to hear.
No, Dr. John Methusala, I'm just checking with you. Yeah.
Actually, Rajula, I'm listening to everything. The only thing is I'm in the radio station, so I don't know. There will be a lot of different. Students, right?
Yes,
Am I audible? Am I
yes,
audible?
you are.
Yeah. Yes. So that was, I think, a wonderful session by Dr. Goodwin, and he has given us ways and means of coming together and working for ethics on the campus, given the kind of limitations that are there and whatever you can imagine. So I just want the participants to understand that these 7 days of FPP has gone on very well just because of you participants. If you were not there, we would not have done this. It would not have been a successful FDP, faculty development program. This faculty development program actually was meant for the Indian colleges and university faculty, and we have had the participants from 24 other countries, which is really overwhelming. And I invite them, and now we understand that we have a global network, and it's not a national network that we have. This is superb. This is wonderful. So we want to actually make teachers leaders, leaders of ethics. So that we want communities of leaders of ethics. So can we make communities of leaders of ethics? So that is what I mean. These leaders, I don't call them leaders, but I prefer to call them custodians. That's the reason why we have this word custodians in our presentations. So, how many of you would like to be the custodians? If you are actually inspired by the talks and you want to do something for the future of ethics in higher education, for the cause of ethics in higher education, I think now is the time you can actually network. Now is the time, I would say, it would start with the beginning, writing an email to Mrs. Rajula, and then she will put us all together. Mrs. Rajula, this is my request to you. If people are thinking of coming together, let them express that in the chat box now itself, and whoever shows their willingness now itself to be custodians. So whoever wants to be the custodian, just type in the chat box, we want to be custodians, that's all. And then Mrs. Rajula will get back to you and start networking. Now itself, can you do that? Rajula, it's over to you now. I think I've done my part. I should thank all the participants, number one, all the resource persons, number two, And you particularly, Mrs. Sajida, without you, it would not have happened. You are at the helm. And my thanks to Esther also. Esther has done a wonderful job. Thank you, Esther, for whatever you have done. And whoever are involved in this, I thank you all. And I thank the head office of Globethics, Geneva. And I thank Rani Anna College and Dr. Darling Selvi Ma'am and all their staff. Thank you so much. I sign off from here to the railway station, and it's all up to you, Mrs. Rajla. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Goodwin.
Thank you, Dr. Medushala. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. John. Have safe travel. And there is a comment in the chat box that FDP well designed, and then so many comments coming, sir. And then they are also asking for your email and also phone number. If you like, you can just type it. Some of them would like to stay in touch with you. And then regarding forming different WhatsApp groups based upon based upon certain criteria and also purpose, like what is that particular group is going to do. We'll have some discussion with the speakers and also with the course curator. And then I'll be in touch with you all through email. And we have a lot of requirements from you also. You have learned through this FTP. Now we have to learn from you. What is the impact that this particular, it's not just for listening and seeing excellent, well arranged. No, we actually expect a change in each person who attended this particular workshop, because we belong to the precious community, teaching learning community. And then the teaching
Madam,
community.
Rajula, madam, so, sorry to interrupt you. If I think my mail ID is with you and my mobile number is also with you. If anybody
Yes, sir.
asks, they can you can share. You can share, madam. There
Okay.
is no problem at all.
Individually, if there is a request individually to my mail ID, I will share it with them.
Sure, ma'am. Sure, ma'am.
I don't put
And
it in
see, I am seeing some people asking for that mail ID. You can share, madam. No problem.
the, sure, sir. I'll do that. And so I will stay in touch with you all. And also regarding the feedback form, each day we have shared for the last 6 days, and today's feedback we will share again tonight. And then also there will be a post survey. We would like to really check with you in what way this particular FD has changed you, the transformation that has taken place within you, and then how you're going to show that transformation in your workplace and also in your community. So we'll be happy to hear from you. Any testimonies from your side written with your photograph, welcome. We're going to come out with a book, and then we will include that in our book. And also there will be a test based upon this FDP. And the certificate will take a minimum 10 to 12 days to reach your hand, because each day different people have attended. So we have on the number of days that you've attended. And I'll stay in touch with you. If you have anything, you can actually write to us. And we have really come to the closer of this FDP. And the theme, we actually listened to different lectures about the ethics model of excellence framework. And it was a joint effort of Rani Anna Government College of Women and also Global Ethics South Asia Center, Bangalore. My special thanks to the college principal, Dr. C. Maithili, and also our point of contact, Dr. Darling Selvi. Due to some emergency, she could not join us today. And my sincere thanks to all the speakers from day one, Dr. John Methuselah, the course curator, Mr. Joshua George, Dr. Goodwin, Dr. Priyanka Kakar, and Robert Bell from the UK, for making this FDP a great success only because of their valuable contribution of their knowledge, experience, and expertise with all of us. So I especially thank all the speakers. Thank you, Dr. Goodwin. And dear
Madam,
participants.
thank you. So let me thank also, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Regula madam. Thank you, Esther madam, and thank you, Darling madam. Thank you, Rani Anna College and Globe Ethics. A big thanks to you for giving me this opportunity to share my views on ethical practices. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. I especially thank all the participants, and they have been with us from day one. Thanks for sparing their time and also the patience that they had. And we are extremely privileged that we had the participants from 24 countries. And also, I would like to recognize the presence of Dr. Kamal Ayadi. He is our MENA regional consul, and he was with us. And today also he is there attending and listening. We'll be happy to hear from you about your valuable comments also. And then in case if we have to improve somewhere in our future efforts, kindly share it with us. We'll definitely ensure that it is adopted. And have a good evening, good morning to some of you, good afternoon to some of you. And I assure you that we will meet again with the next program. Thank you so much. Thanks a
Thank
lot.
you. Thank you. Thank you.
And thanks to Esther also, who has helped us with operating the Zoom every day. Thank you, everyone.